President Trump sending a clear message to the world after authorizing a strike on an airbase in Syria. But what were the risks that the president took by doing this?
Clarion Project national security analyst Mauro joins us live here in New York City. Good morning to you.
Good morning.
Let's start with by talking a little bit about the target. The target we know was the airbase where the Syrian jets took off from with the poison gas and landed as well. But the Syrians aren't the only ones using that airbase, are they?
Right. So what's really interesting about this is I understand why some people are uncomfortable with getting involved in a civil war, acting like the world's policemen, and saying, well, why are we getting involved over there? Well, think of it this way. That same airbase that was used to launch the chemical attack has for a long time been linked to activity by the Iranian Revolutionary Guards Corps and Hezbollah, who we consider to be a terrorist organization.
So we took out a terrorist airbase.
Target, exactly. And if that's where chemical weapons were actually stored, you had a terrorist group operating right in that area. That's incredibly dangerous.
Well, chemical attacks like this have happened before under President Obama. The response clearly a lot different. We have a new sheriff in town. What message does this send to Iran and to North Korea and to Russia and to ISIS?
Everyone is recalculating their policy now. A friend, an enemy, because this was really kind of unpredictable, went against some things that Trump had said, and it was so quick and it was so decisive. So I think everyone's heads are spinning right now. But overall, the message it sends is that, look, this is the Wild West. There's a new sheriff in town, and you know what? The new sheriff wants to look like RoboCop compared to the last one. Well, he wants to really outdo him and say, here's the contrast.
Well, there wasn't much to outdo when you think right about it.
Yeah.
All right, let's talk about the four risks. First up, Putin's response.
Sure. Well, what he has said is that, well, we are going to suspend the cooperation where we know where your planes are flying, you know where ours are in Syria, so that they don't collide or get into an accidental dogfight. That's posturing. It is not in Russia's interest for there to be a mid-air dogfight that gets out of control. What Russia might do is bomb U.S.-backed rebels because they've done that in the past. They have to do something. But Russia doesn't want to escalate this because there was only one airbase that was taken out. And it was done so humanely that we let the Russians know beforehand so they could be out there and safe, and also said there'd be minimal casualties, even among Assad's people. So this wasn't warmongering.
All right, the next risk, Assad's regime. What happens now?
Sure. So they have multiple options. There's some speculation that they could use some of their missiles to try to strike American military. I don't think they're going to do that. Right now, Assad does not want things to escalate. What's more likely is that Iran is going to hatch some type of terror plot, maybe a cyber attack. Again, they have to do something, but they're going to also be thinking, well, are we next? We don't really know what we're dealing with here.
Okay, so let's look at that list once more. And the final thing on the list is the attack on U.S. personnel. We know that we got at least 1,000 personnel in Syria battling ISIS. What is their threat at this joint?
Well, ISIS is going to try to exploit this because the airbase was used to keep all opposition forces, including ISIS and other terrorists fighting Assad, back. So they'll try to exploit it, but that can be handled. My main concern is, of course, the Iranian proxies like Hezbollah in Syria. But what about in Iraq? There are a lot of Shiite militias there that really hate the American presence, and Afghanistan. Don't forget about the war there, because both Russia and Iran are arming the Taliban. It sounds crazy that Russia is doing this, but the U.S. military has confirmed it.
Okay, so what happens today? What's the international reaction right there today?
A lot of it's going to be predictable. A lot of UN meetings, a lot of condemnations. But right now, everyone's going to be planning. And I think the question that a lot of people are going to be thinking, well, there's two questions. First, is the Assad regime going to implode? Are there going to be a lot of defections so that there's an internal split we have to deal with? And then among the other questions that we have will also be, when Assad kills a lot more people than was done with this chemical attack, what is Trump's response going to be? Is this just about using chemical weapons to carry out massacres, or is it about massacres in general?
Great point.
Ryan, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
Thank you.